Giddy
What's up, boys? How we doing?
What up, baby?
Brooks, I love how our 30-second intro takes about 55 seconds.
57 to be exact. 57 to be exact.
It's pretty good, yeah. It's it makes a lot of sense. How we doing, boys? How about those Ravens?
You got to add a couple milliseconds in there in between the shift. I don't know how technology works.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, how about those Ravens? Lamar's perfect again, dude.
Mm-hmm. Fourth time in his career, which is the most of all time. The only guys who have done it 3 times, which is a perfect passer rating of 158.3, are Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, and Ben Roethlisberger. I would say that's pretty good company to be in.
I saw that Ben did it 4 times. Is that correct? Was that wrong?
As far as SportsIllustrated.com says, it was Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Kurt Warner, and Ben Roethlisberger were all 3. They all did it 3 times. So could be wrong. Just be
most people don't know where Ben Roethlisberger went to college.
I do.
I do as well.
Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
That's a MAC school. I like that.
I like to score points.
I like Maction. I bet a Buffalo Akron over this weekend. It was 49, and the final score was 40-31. It was awesome.
The fighting Mike Newtons.
But did you hit the over? Did you hit the over by the time the actual halftime hit?
I think we needed 3 points in the second half. We got plenty. I also put a tactical nuke on Ohio State, and that worked really well. Yeah.
I haven't heard the word or I haven't heard the term tactical nuke in a very long time.
Yeah.
Just in Penn State plays in a big game and loses.
That's a shame already. James Franklin sucks. And he looks like Keegan-Michael Key. But before we get into everything else, I want to give a couple shout outs because I know people might be we get long-winded, myself very much so. Right turn, left hand lane. We're doing Chesapeake Wine Company next. This coming Friday. We're gonna do it at 11:30 live. We have our best guy and listener other than Joe Radke, Antonio, coming on, and we're gonna talk a little baseball. We're gonna talk a little Ravens. I'm getting pied in the face by whoever the hell wants to come pie me.
Yeah.
And other than that, also to Mr. Ruff, this is Billy Tristies. There you go. Bang.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
It's all goes along with Antonio and Russ. I promise.
Gotcha.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there Friday morning, 11:30. We're gonna get started whenever we can. But if you do know the schedule, the Ravens are playing on Thursday. So we're going to be doing like immediate live reactions basically the next morning on Friday. And if you want to come, Chesapeake Wine Company in Canton, we know a lot of our listeners live in that general area. Bring your dog, bring your pet. Don't bring your pet gator. But, if you have a dog or a cat or something normal, you can bring your pets. It's a pet-friendly environment. It's going to be a lot of fun. So.
And just it looks like we had a lot of listeners, a lot of new listeners to the last pod. So in case you haven't listened to us before, just to give you a little heads up about how we run our show, we're not like your typical standard segmented show. We try not to be so by the book. It's just us bellying up to a bar, having a drink, hanging out, kind of like what we would do anyway. But since we live in other states, we kind of just do it at around lunchtimes on Mondays and Thursdays. So that's usually our scheduled time. Dustin tries to keep us on the rails. We do have notes that we try to go down the line, but we're going to be everywhere. It's going to, like I said, it's us sitting at a bar, having a drink, whatever comes to mind. We just try to have a good time. So
and Brooks, that's a great way to put it, man. And in all honesty, I think this is more refreshing to a lot of people because we're just kind of bullshitting and having fun. You can have a good time. You can talk about whatever the hell it is, as long as it's not politics. Yeah. Enjoy yourself. And you can even come in and talk shit to us.
Please, actually, that'd be great.
And we're interactive with our fans who comment. Joe Radke, Picktown Sports are two of our biggest commenters. Nick Boat is also in here a lot. If you want to interact with us during the show, after the show, whenever, comment on our stuff and let us know your thoughts on whatever we're talking about at that particular moment or whatever you're thinking.
And we support local health. And also, I want to say one more thing before we even get going into sports. It was the anniversary of my friend, our friend, Jesse McCusick's passing.
Yeah, I saw the tailgate that the Pips put on. Looked awesome.
Great tailgate yesterday formed by the Pipitones. Pips, you guys killed it, man. You guys killed it. I didn't get a chance to actually go because I had to work because of some asshole named Sean and Hillary Foy getting married next week. But, I wear
this weekend.
I'm aware, but I had to cover this week so I can have next week. But if you can see it, it's for Uncle Jesse. Fly high, Uncle Jesse. You are the man. All right.
This is the 1 year.
We love you. We love you.
The 1 year or the 2 year anniversary?
I think it's a 2 year, which means time flies, dude.
I know.
Yeah. All right. We have gotten all of our housekeeping stuff out of the way. RIP Jesse McCusick, and shout out to the Pips, as Brian said. Let's get into some sports. Let's talk about the Ravens. How about that game yesterday? What is the first thing that jumped out at you watching the game yesterday? Brian, we'll go to you first.
Without a doubt, the most complete game I've ever seen from a team outside of the first quarter. That is as simplistic and high level as I can get. I don't want to beat down anything else. I want you guys to have the floor.
Okay. Brooks?
Yeah, my first thing is, who makes this passer rating of 158.3 as the perfect mark?
That's some guy living in a cabin in Wichita.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll take it. Perfect is perfect. Whatever. Yeah. I mean, Lamar was great. I love that Derrick Henry goes on the presser afterwards and felt like he didn't play like his greatest game. And he went for 24 rushes ish for like 105
you
yards.
fumbled that twice, by the way, and no pun intended, fumbled it twice.
Around 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'll fucking take that. If that's your bad week, I'll take that every day of the week. But yeah, Lamar's just looking ridiculous. Offensive line looks decent. Secondary still a little skeptical. Defensive line in terms of rushing looks good still. We are not getting to the quarterback at all. So I definitely see us looking. I actually think that I saw on Twitter that they came out and announced that they were looking for more pass rushers. I'm sure we're looking for a corner, which everybody is. We'll see if we can actually get one. But if we can get home faster, then that helps our corners out as well. So it's a little bit of a pick your poison there.
I don't want to, Brooks, I want to stop you real quick. And I hate cutting you off, but let's not skew negative. Let's talk about the positive first.
I know.
Please.
Yeah, I've gotten most of my positive out of the way. Zay Flowers is a true number one. He looks incredible. Drop passes much better this week. One other thing, where's Isaiah Likely gone? Are we just hiding him for a couple weeks here until a big game comes along? I feel like he's gone quiet.
That's a great question, actually, because you hear Charlie Cole, you hear Isaiah Likely now. Is he hurt?
I don't think he's hurt. I just think it's game script dependent. I think we're just using Flowers a little bit more than we were earlier in the season. I think Andrews has been really good as of late, and yesterday he didn't have to do anything. I think he only had 2 catches for like 30 yards or something like that. Lamar is 19-0 in his career following a loss to Cleveland for the rest of that season.
Earlier.
That is awesome.
That's great news. Great news.
So is Deshaun Jackson after massages. Deshaun Jackson after massages 19-0. I promise you that much. 66-0.
Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Jackson got some love on Thursday night because Malachi Corley, the rookie kid for the Jets, dropped the ball on the 1-yard line going into the end zone and cost them 7. They ended up winning the game anyway. But let's stay on the Ravens for now. Yeah, I echo what Brooks said. Zay Flowers is really blossoming into a true number one. He's everything that I wanted Hollywood Brown to be and more.
Did you really say flowers and blossoming?
I didn't do it on purpose, but you're welcome.
Man, we sound like actual fucking radio, TV hosts, whatever podcast hosts today.
Yeah.
What's wrong with us? I don't like this. I don't like this.
The corny ass puns that I always cringe at that I hear people say.
Yeah, I didn't do that on purpose, but Flowers he's really stepped up. Like I said, I think he's everything I wanted Hollywood Brown to be. He's so shifty.
Yeah.
He's so good over the middle. He's so good at creating space after the catch. That the second touchdown he had where he caught the ball in the middle of 5 dudes and weaseled his way out. It just reminded me of Dante Hall a lot. The human joystick back in the day who used to just get into crazy situations and was able to wither his way out of them.
That was
human joystick. He was known as the human joystick.
I know
that was one of those like Brian Billick where he's like, no Ed, go down Ed, go down Ed, and he's like, go Ed.
The no yes guy. Yeah, he's the no yes guy.
I was sitting there like, go out of bounds, save the clock, go out of bounds, save the clock, and I'm like, go Zay.
And you know, the first person to really say that Zay Flowers was going to be the best receiver in the draft was Chris Sims. He said, without a doubt, this is the best guy. And he also, Chris Sims said, and I didn't realize this until now, he respected that he stayed at Boston College because he could have went in the transfer portal to another big school.
Yeah.
But yeah, good take.
Yeah, I mean he's been excellent. Like we talked about before the game, Denver's defense entered as really one of the better defenses in the NFL. Number 1 defense in fantasy football in every league I'm in for sure. Patrick Surtain is really good. Their rookie, I think he's a rookie. Riley Moss on the other side has been pretty good for them as well. And we just kind of shredded them. We were able to do whatever we wanted. The game was in control the whole way. I think it was the second play of the game. We picked Bo Nix off and we were able to score right away.
We didn't capitalize on that one.
We didn't?
We took
that
sack.
Lamar took a big sack. Yeah, you're right. And then, but at no point did it feel like the game was out of control. It felt like we were dominating. It felt like after that first couple series or whatever that we could pretty much do whatever we wanted to. Henry got his 100th career rushing touchdown yesterday, 100 and 101st, I believe. He eclipsed 1,000 yards for the 7th straight season, which is second to only LaDainian Tomlinson, who has 9 straight rushing seasons of 1,000 yards, I believe. And he's got 11 rushing touchdowns already in just 9 games. So 1,000 yards and 11 rushing touchdowns in just 9 games. So we're halfway through the season. He's got basically a full seas's worth of statistics already.
Yeah, we should have got him last year, and we tried too hard.
We tried to, during right around this time frame last year, and I guess somebody blocked it. I think it was the ownership of Tennessee blocked it. I think we hadn't agreed upon. We had a deal agreed upon, but I think the owner of Tennessee blocked it.
It's a young lady, and she blocked it. Yes, because he was a ticket draw.
Yeah, which God, they need something in Tennessee.
Yeah, they do. But before that, I think I was listening to them talk about this yesterday during the game, the broadcasters. The only other running back to lead in touchdowns, yards, and what was it, all-purpose yards? There was another stat. The only person to ever do that at this point in the season was Jim Brown in 63. No other running back has ever done that to this point through an NFL season. So impressive stuff. And again, I'm going to keep doing it. I got to keep giving the offensive line their flowers just from how bad of a start that was for the first 3-ish weeks. I think it was.
Yeah. When everybody actually sponsor this podcast, Flowers Blooming.
Wait, what?
Flowers Blooming.
He said we need to get a floral sponsor, some sort of floral sponsor.
Oh, he's stuck in 5 minutes ago. Did your screen freeze?
Yes. I have no idea.
I'm just messing with you. But yeah, I gotta keep giving them their props. They they've looked pretty, for the most part, pretty good ever since then. Looks like Ronnie Stanley's probably going to get paid in the offseason. I don't think it's going to be by us, but that'll be a whole issue to talk about. That's going to be a hole we need to fill probably, and we'll have to start thinking about that in the offseason probably. But
before anyone comments, not us or anyone on social, live in the moment. Let's forget about next year. I don't care about what Ronnie Stanley's contract is. Right now, he's playing phenomenal.
Well, also, I mean, speaking of living in the moment, we have to appreciate what we're seeing right now. Just having Lamar as a quarterback at the moment is good. God, I mean, the way he's, I could have only dreamed of having a quarterback play for the Ravens that is this good, and to pair him with Derrick Henry. I mean, we're seeing something pretty special here that we need to remember this, because we may never see it again.
Dusty, after Brooks is done, I want you to go ahead, because I got a couple things, and I'll be very quick.
Yeah, I totally agree with Brooks. He's a two-time MVP. He's 27 years old, and he's just now starting to play his best football. He's going into his prime right now, and it's awesome to watch. He only had 4 rushing yards yesterday. He didn't need to use his legs very much at all. Derrick Henry did all that work for him. That throw down the side, that wheel route to Justice Hill was unbelievable. Incredible. He has made so many really good throws, really huge throws this season. He's improved so much in that area. And every time he makes a mistake, you can tell he's like his biggest critic, which I love. I think he's been really good about that. And he always says the right things. He acts the right way. He seems like a legit good dude. I love him, and it's unbelievable. He's been the best football player this season, 100% in the league.
I have a couple of takes on that, Dusty, after what you said. Is I do not enjoy the fact that he is so animated after he has bad plays. Because as we've talked about before, when you make a mistake, how do you react? And he always does this, like, when he throws his helmet, pick your fucking helmet up. I understand.
Yeah, but Brady and Manning were like that too.
Yeah, but he would yell, "Let's fucking go." Or Manning would try to yell at his offensive line. He's not doing it while still in between the fucking sticks.
Yeah.
Second, you could never ask for a better player than Lamar right now. And all those people, all those haters, no matter what you like, and I'm not talking about race, you didn't like Lamar, screw you. He's so good for this team, and he fits our team.
I mean, you're right, Brian, because Dustin and I talked about this right before the season started. I think it was preseason. He still gets people in his bar today that says the reason why the Ravens lose games, or the reason why the Ravens haven't won a Super Bowl the last couple of years or whatever is because of Lamar Jackson. And it's like, are you out of your fucking mind?
I have family members who say that. Like a family member, like, "Oh, he's not a good quarterback." Hey, let me check my watch real quick. He won 2 fucking MVPs.
He's been on our team since 2018. So this is his 6th or 7th season on the team. I believe it's his 7th. But he didn't play much his rookie year. He's already the best quarterback in Ravens history by a mile.
Joe Flacco's still playing.
Joe Flacco, we'll talk about him later. He did not look so elite last night. But yeah, I mean, it's so much fun. And if you think Lamar is the reason that the Ravens have had any struggles, yeah, maybe he hasn't played his best games in the playoffs up to this point. But once again, he's 27 years old. We have a lot of time to watch Lamar Jackson play football, especially if he continues to throw the ball and improve at throwing the football the way he is. Because if his legs aren't going to be there later in his career as much as they are now, he's going to need to adjust. And it looks like he's doing that.
Looking real quarterbacky, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a little more quarterbacky now.
To quote Terrell Owens, "That's my quarterback, and I want my first quarterback to be tackled for the first time by his mother in the backyard before he went to Louisville."
Yeah.
He has quoted himself as saying the first person ever to tackle him was his mother, which is nuts.
Yeah, and so to bring up Pigtown, the same thing what you guys just said too. He's great representation of the team and the city. You never hear a bad word spoken about him. He's not getting in trouble. He's not going out to the clubs. He's not getting out getting DUIs or gun charges or whatever else. The worst things that people said about him was during his contract stuff, which happens during every contract situation, but which is bullshit. But I mean, it's the nature of the game. I get it.
You break people down to build them back up. Fuck you. He's a good human being. He's a good person.
And the people who are taught, like your family members, like we certainly have family members as well. Like there's just people in Baltimore in general and Maryland that are always gonna hate on him until he wins a Super Bowl, probably. And when he does, then they're gonna be like, "Well, it took him this long." So there's just gonna be people. They're not gonna appreciate this until 10. My fucking camera's doing it again.
I'm gonna stab you with that goddamn camera. And so that being said, I hate the people that are like, "Oh, hey, Lamar's doing this. What's your fucking alternative? What do you want?"
There's people that aren't going to
literally.
Who do you want? You want Jeff George?
You want Patrick Mahomes? I mean, what is there a better quarterback in the league than Lamar Jackson in 2024? No.
How in the hell do you get it? Sorry, Dusty, I'm cutting you off. But how the hell do you get a guy who doesn't go on social media, doesn't do anything stupid, stays out of the limelight, produces, has a good time on his own, and you still want to fucking hate on him? That's a curse on you, you fucking clowns.
Well, yeah. Right. So, like, just to finish what I was saying before, all these people who talk shit. My dog's trying to steal my chicken nuggets. All these people who are talking shit on Lamar and are just never going to be happy. And like I said, till he wins a Super Bowl, and then when he does, they're gonna be like, "Well, it took him this long, blah blah blah," or "It only has one," or whatever it ends up being. Right? They're not going to appreciate what they're seeing right now until 10 years after he's out of the league, probably, or more. Then they're going to be like, "Oh man, remember when Lamar was there?" And then I cannot wait to sit there and be like, "Yeah, I remember when you talked shit about him the entire time. You remember that?" I mean, we had to sit there and convince you that he was a good quarterback, and then only then we'll be like, "Yeah, I was wrong." It's going to take.
I have family members. He's a terrible quarterback, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my god, I love him when he throws touchdowns."
So 2,400 yards passing, or 2,379 yards passing, is second in the NFL. He's got 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And if you remember, one of those interceptions was just a straight up drop by Mark Andrews that fell into the DB's lap. So he's playing unbelievable football. It's awesome. It was a great game yesterday. It was really fun to watch, and it's always really fun when you just feel like you can do whatever you want on offense.
Without a doubt. And Dusty, you're in charge of keeping us on the rails, but I need to ask this question to Big Town right now. What's your favorite Dino Nugget character?
So I have a ton of Dino Nuggets here for Banks because he's actually will eat that. He's so picky about what he eats. But no, these are Costco nuggets, which I highly recommend. They are pretty damn close to some Chick-fil-A nuggets. And
I've had those. I can confirm they are excellent.
Brooks, I would like you to shut your yapper. They are not close to Costco nuggets. Dino nuggets are amazing.
You have the Costco executive member there. Look at it.
I got one too. I don't have my wallet on me. It's in my car, but
I'm a Stegosaurus guy. Big Stegosaurus.
I knew you were a Stegosaurus guy. Pigtown puts up, since the start of last season, Lamar has 6,057 passing yards with 44 touchdowns and 9 picks. So really, really, really good stuff.
I love
Pigtown has the best stats. He actually does.
You kill it, man. You kill it, dude. I want people to know, whoever listens to this stupid shit, if you think there's a better option other than Lamar, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Joe's calling me out right now. Zay Flowers led the winning streak in fantasy football. So if you haven't heard me say this before, Joe and I are in the same fantasy football league for the Ryan Ripken show. Obviously, I represent the Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture show, and we are not performing very well. I should not be the one representing us. And Joe, I wouldn't be surprised if he beat me this week. I think I got one win, and it was a pretty lucky one. And I thought I still think my team is pretty good. I still like my guys. But I I think it's because it's a 10-team league, so I feel like my guys are good, and I'm used to playing in 12 teams.
12-team leagues, yeah.
And it's just not good enough. So
yeah.
But I mean, Joe did draft the Arkansas kicker who kicks for the Jags in his first round there. And the fact that he has 2 wins right now is astonishing. I think he also Joe, did you remind me again? Did you also take Vinny Testaverde as well? I think
it was the all-time leading passer for the Ravens. All-time leading passer for the Ravens.
There's no way Joe Flacco is not the all-time leading passer for the Ravens.
Look it up.
There's no way. Vinny Testaverde did not play here that.
He only played for like 3 years for us.
Look it up.
I got to look it up, and you're going to be wrong. Joe Flacco, all-time passing leader.
Where's Testaverde at?
Testaverde's number 4. Lamar is number 2. Kyle Bowler's number 3. Testaverde 4. McNair 5.
How disgusting is it that Vinny Testaverde is still number 4?
Jim Harbaugh's number 12.
Jesus Christ.
Jermaine Lewis is number 29.
He only played Jim Harbaugh only played. Did he play a full season with us? Or did he play like half the season?
Jim Harbaugh had 14 games for the Ravens and had just under 2,000 passing yards. So not excellent.
Well, he was our first. He's our first or second starting quarterback.
I think he was the first one. Oh, really?
Second was Mitchell the first one?
No, it was Vinny Testaverde was the first one.
Was he?
Yeah.
We need
Eric Zier.
This is what we need to do for Friday.
Stony Case.
We need to come up with trivia questions for people walking into the show as well, because I know we have a ton that we have not gotten to in our trivia stuff.
Done.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from the Ravens and start talking around the league. Let's just start with Thursday night to get it out of the way. The Jets beat the Houston Texans 21-13, in which we called the fishiest line of the year last week. The Jets were favored for some reason by 2.5 over Houston. Houston, I'll tell you what, without Diggs and Nico and a couple of their offensive linemen down, haven't really been very impressed with them the last couple of weeks. What do you have on? Let's talk about them first. I know it's a lot missing, but it's not going to get. Look, Nico's coming back, but their offensive line problems are not going to go away. And Stephon Diggs is out for the year, so they're going to have to figure something out. What did you see specifically from Houston guys, and then we'll talk about the Jets afterwards.
Brooks, go
ahead. Yeah, I mean, I think they just got to like we just kind of joked about. They have a lot to overcome. I don't blame Stroud. Stroud's doing everything he can. And like you said, I agree with you. Oh, man, that's your 4th hat. Dustin's going to keep. All right.
Brian switched hats, so I did too.
I don't think I have enough hats here to switch. But yeah, it's going to be tough getting over the offensive line stuff.
I'm trying to a company that's actually talked to us.
But
appreciate that, Brian.
No free ads. But yeah, I think it's going to be good to. Once Nico comes back. I think that's going to be a huge help. It sucks that Diggs is out for the year. He's kind of a nice little security blanket as well. Tank Dell is obviously back, but like you said, it's tough with that offensive line. But I mean, Mixon was still making it work. I mean, he had a great game.
Dude, can we talk about how good Joe Mixon is now? He looks like he's de-aged 5 years. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's been awesome this year. He's running hard. He looks great.
He was at the ayahuasca meeting with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
All right, Brooks, you're canceled. So that being said,
I knew I was going to get a reaction out of Brian for that.
Brian, what do you think about the Brian? You're on mute, by the way. But what did you guys think about the Garrett Wilson shin catch? His shin was inbounds. He only got 1 foot inbounds. I was playing him in a couple of different fantasy leagues, so I think it's bullshit completely. Brian, you're still on mute, so I can't understand what you're saying. But
my laptop is having a conniption, so I was on mute, off mute, on mute, off mute. I firmly believe that he was out of bounds, but I'm not going to sit here and say that he was in bounds or out of bounds.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was
he
a sick
deserved
catch.
a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was remind me, for some reason I can't think of it. That was the one where they said a shin equals 2 feet, right?
Correct. Yeah. So his
Any
shin
other
and
hot-
his shin and his knee go down what I thought was simultaneously, but I guess his shin hit a split second before his knee hit out of bounds. And they said his shin was down before his knee hit out of bounds, which I don't get because it's all one fluid motion. It's so bizarre. I think it's stupid because he tapped the same foot twice. He tapped the same foot twice, but that doesn't matter. You have to get both feet in. So the reason
I feel like that rule is going to change after that catch.
I've been watching football for 30 years, and I still don't know what is and what isn't a catch sometimes. And it's so stupid.
I want to be in a meeting where someone said survive the ground. Because I would like to hit that guy with a DeMarini.
All the big stuff, all the big stuff that with the catch stuff before this, I feel like the last thing I remember being such a big deal, kind of like this, was when Des Bryant, I think that was a survive the ground
against the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Romo's basically for lack of a better term, last game.
Or football move, one or the other.
He moved 3 steps, fell, one hand, dropped the ball. Mike McCarthy can't even answer it, who was the coach of the Packers at the time. Can't even answer it with it on his face.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the last time. Is his shin bending? How does the shin hit before the knee? That's kind of
shins don't bend; they break.
So weird.
I feel like that's impossible. Well, I guess maybe if you're on your side and like your calf hits first, but I mean that wasn't really the case, right? If I remember correctly.
No, not really.
Let me put you in the referee's shoes. Listen to us right now. How difficult is their job?
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult.
But I mean, if you're going to review every scoring play, I feel like you should get it right, and you should consult with whoever the head ref is. But I mean, also,
great catch.
Know, if they called it the other way, there would probably be an uproar about that. Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, obviously the catch will go down in history now because it was an actual touchdown. If it was out of bounds, it would just be forgotten like every other great catch that's been out of bounds. So I don't know, part of that, but I don't know. I just think it's bizarre. The rules are I think the rules are cloudy on purpose just so they can fuck with the score sometimes.
And also those gloves are performance enhancers, and anyone that says they're not performance enhancers can suck my taint, because those things are absolutely frictionless and you can grab them.
Coach, this don't look natural. It's like I just jerked off an elephant.
Clifford Frank. Go Clifford Frank.
Like the flu. Clifford Frank was the only one coming up with it.
Those are performance enhancers. Like when I've seen Lynn Swann make that catch in the Super Bowl, like that's ridiculous. Like when you see Odell Beckham make that thing, there's no way he catches it with 2 fingers.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, even with the gloves, that Odell catch is ridiculous either way.
Still stupid. Yeah. And PI.
Yeah, and a PI, and he was inbounds somehow. All of it was just crazy.
And there was one Bobo, I think his last name's Bobo, for Seattle last year made that didn't get a lot of attention that I thought was ridiculous. There was another one yesterday that we'll get to in the Philly game that we'll talk about that was ridiculous.
Yeah, and the game winner for the Rams against the Seahawks yesterday was ridiculous as well.
I actually didn't see that one.
You should watch that.
I'll watch that one.
DeMarcus Robinson, former Raven great.
I did see that.
Unbelievable catch in the end zone.
If no one remembers this, the Julio Jones catch
in the Super Bowl, yes,
is forgotten because of the 28-3 comeback.
Yeah. You're right.
It is one of the best catches I've ever seen. And then Edelman
made a crazy catch in that game too. Yeah,
so it gets overshadowed. The Julio Jones catch is unreal.
Brooks lost $100 to me on that game.
I did. Edelman gave all the love for the catch in that game, and we all forget about the Julio one.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we talked a little bit, I guess, about Jets Houston. Look, it was a weird fishy line.
Yeah, what do you guys think about the Jets on the other side? Do they look any better to you or no?
I think they did look a little better, but I still don't think I wasn't It didn't change my mind on the Jets moving forward. I think that they did look a little bit better. I think Houston being banged up definitely helped. Their defense looked a lot better, but that could be part Houston not looking as good. I still don't believe in the Jets being able to make a playoff run at this point, just given their record. I think they have too many divisional games left too. Although their division is not very good outside of Buffalo. It didn't move the needle for me one way or the other on the Jets. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. Didn't move the needle for me either. And until Rodgers gets his accuracy back fully, if he ever does, it's just not going to be the same. Just because, I mean, you see glimpses of it here and there where he's got it back. And then it's just, and then he's just missing some easy throws that he never misses. Never misses. So until that turns around, I think that's a huge deal. So once that gets turned around, then maybe, why did that do that? Maybe it'll actually make maybe they can actually make a run at it. But yeah, until then, I say run at trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I understand that I'm an Aaron Rodgers hater, but he doesn't look normal. His legs seem to be gone. Obviously, given the injury he had last year.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the same quarterback. And this is a personal perspective. I don't think he's all in after calling out his own teammates over the offseason to be all in because he went to Egypt. I'm sure the Sphinx was great. And so I just truly don't believe in the Jets. Now, I will say one thing, and I'll always give respect where respect is due. He should have had another touchdown until that idiot dropped the ball before the end zone.
And apparently they, like, all week, because this has happened a ton this year, it feels like more than usual. All week they were looking at replays like about the week before, whoever did it the week before, and they were like, don't be this guy. And then of course the first touchdown of that game first should have been touchdown.
Kyle Pitts did it the week before, but he got bailed out because the ball barely crossed the goal line before it got.
Yeah, and I don't even think that it did, to be honest. I think that was the wrong call.
That was weird.
But he got it.
Not taken away from Kyle Pitts. That was the best game of his NFL career thus far. And then he went out and put up a nice little one reception for 11 yards again this week. That's Kyle Pitts for you. Picktown Sports comments that 9 teams in the NFL have only 2 wins. Is this a bad year, or more teams decent enough to beat each other? I think it's a bad year. I think there's a lot of terrible, terrible quarterbacks in the league. And I think it has been like this for the last couple of years. I think you forget sometimes how bad some of these players are, how often the quarterback changes, the coaches change. It's 10 or 12, really, new quarterbacks, new coaches every single year. And it makes it more impressive when guys like Lamar and Burrow and Allen and Mahomes and those kind of guys can be so consistent and so consistently good when all these quarterbacks are just crazy carousel. Brian, you had something on that.
Yes. I know there's one-offs, like look at the Patriots right now in terms of culture, but look at the teams that are terrible. They've either had culture shifts, the Ravens, the Steelers, they're always there. And I hate to use that because it sounds like I'm biased, but teams that have stability continue to last. Look at the Panthers. Terrible.
Yeah.
Mickey Loomis and the changing of ownership when Tom Benson died in New Orleans, not going well. See Dennis Allen getting fired today.
Yeah.
The only, and I can't even believe I'm saying this, it almost makes me want to poop, is the Redskins or the Commanders actually look like a better team now than a majority of the teams in the league.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, not only has the quarterback play not been great for some of these teams, like the offensive line play has been pretty bad in general too.
Yeah.
It's very hard to draft offensive linemen now out of college because of these spread offenses. The wider hash marks, so you have spread offenses. And let me tell you how a quarterback gets his read. I'm going to show it to you actually.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the line. No one knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
So
the coach tells him the read.
Yeah, and they're holding up a picture of, like, I don't know, Jason Sudeikis.
Now they don't have to because they got microphones in the helmets this year now.
The game's
But
evolving.
yeah,
But offensive linemen are ridiculously hard to find. That's why
everyone goes to Iowa. That's why everyone goes to Iowa, because they trust that guy. They trust that
Iowa, Wisconsin. Iowa, Wisconsin, baby. Giddy up. Yeah. Go to those corn-fed boys.
Yeah. Those dudes have been throwing hay their whole lives. You can't teach that kind of strength.
No, but they love the offensive line coach up there at Iowa. I think they trust the hell out of him.
Do we think it's the QB's fault for not developing, or is the older coaches in the NFL? I think it's both. I think there's some outdated schemes in the NFL. I mean, I every now and every week I'll watch an offensive set for some team and be like, what are they thinking? Like, what are they doing? And then obviously you sometimes you just have players that just aren't very good, or they don't work in the scheme. I think that's one of the more underrated parts of football. You can say, hey, well, the Packers are lucky because they've gotten 3 really good quarterbacks in a row. But guess what? They're really good at developing talent. They let them sit. They let them watch. They let them learn. And they can develop the talent that way. Sam Darnold gets drafted by any other team but the Jets. He might be good right away, as opposed to turning into a pretty good quarterback now later in his career. I think it's a tale of both sides, I think.
Why they have that's why they have a top 3 pick, right?
Yeah.
Well, quarterbacks are more developed now because of 7-on-7 drills that they do at the lower levels. But you see that offensive line is the hardest thing to draft right now, without a doubt. Quarterback knowledge and getting under center is extremely difficult. The college game is really adapted to the NFL game, but there are times where you need to get under center, see the tush push or the whatever the hell you call it. There's an involvement in the game. What I like about the Ravens, and I know this sounds like a biased statement, we are kind of bucking the trend. While we do throw the ball, we are a power team. And you have a lot of nickel defenses out there with a bunch of fast, slender defenders out there. You want to see Patrick Ricard and Derrick Henry in the hole? I don't.
And this is a good point, Brian, because I listened to Belichick and a couple other coaches talk about this relatively recently within the last couple of months. We all talk about how cyclical football is, right? And it's starting to get back into the power stage of everything with the bigger guys in the backfield and everything, and it's starting to trend back that way again. And it's something that can last, like we talk about, into like the colder months, into January and February, whereas it's something where like that's why it goes the other way again, right? Because then people get big and slow, and then a fast team comes along, which we have a good mixture of right now, right? I mean, like freaking Zay Flowers and Lamar and whoever else you want to talk about out there. Keaton Mitchell, when he gets back, is ridiculous. We have a good mix that we can beat you either way, but like it's going to go too power heavy at some point where people are going to start beating you with their quickness again. So it's going to be cyclical.
Dusty, go ahead, man, and fire away. So I know you're probably going to say the exact same thing I'm going to say.
No. I got 2 things on this. Just first, I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there was a big trend of drafting undersized or smaller guys to play specifically the linebacker position, because a lot of tight ends were really eating and a lot of guys were getting open over the middle, and people were exposing those bigger linebackers that couldn't move as well. And I think you're seeing the results now of that, because I think if you put a lot of smaller linebackers back in, teams are going to try to get bigger on offense and start running right at those smaller linebackers. It makes a lot more sense. So you're right. I like that cyclical point that you made from Coach Belichick. I also think there's certain teams that are a little bit smarter in the way they develop their quarterbacks. Getting back to that just for a second, I was listening to Greg Olson on Ryan Russillo podcast the other day, and he was saying he's amazing. And he did a Commanders game earlier in the year, and he got to interview Cliff Kingsbury. And he asked him what his biggest change was coming to DC this year. And he said as soon as they drafted Jaden Daniels, before he installed any offense or anything, he talked to Jaden Daniels, sat him down. They talked for a couple hours, and he said, what are your favorite 5 pass concepts? What are your favorite 5 running concepts? What are your favorite 5 play action concepts? And they sat there and they bullshitted and they talked football and schemes and concepts for 1 or 2 hours. And immediately on day one of OTAs, they installed the offense that Jaden Daniels liked the most. Those were the first plays that they put into the system. So immediately when he goes into the system, he's getting plays that he's already comfortable with. He's already ran at LSU or wherever he had played before, Arizona State. So I think that was just really smart. And I think more teams need to look to do that. And especially with young quarterbacks, try to make them as comfortable as possible in the early part.
That's a great point. And to Pigtown's point right here, we kind of did this with Lamar too, right? With Greg Roman, we brought back the the RPO / triple option kind of deal where it was more run heavy, and that's what he ran at Louisville. A lot of that stuff, and we kind of kept it pretty simple and in terms of that stuff before we started opening up like the pass game, and like we saw him struggle a little bit in the pass game, and I think we knew that was going to be an area of growth where it is with every quarterback, with most quarterbacks at least. And now you're seeing like what he said with Monk, being under Monk, and I mean Monken just he's in his bag right now, like especially with how Lamar is. His passing is so good, like everything is so good right now. I think the only thing that you can point at times is maybe like decision making. But I mean, even that right now has been great.
It's significantly better than it was too.
But I mean, it's something that can come and go pretty quickly. Well, I mean, he could be great one year and bad the next. It comes with everybody. It's just decision making it's a tough. I mean, that's a tough thing to do at times, especially if you're given 3 options on certain plays and there's not something to read at times. So
yeah.
But we should probably move on to the next game, the Atlanta and Dallas game, unless you guys got something else.
Let me say this real quick, going off all this stuff. Sorry, I got work stuff coming through on my phone, so apologies. I was trying to listen as best I could. The college game has adapted into the NFL game. What NFL coaches used to do was to draft a quarterback and then make them adapt to their system. I love what the Ravens did. Now, what is basically the bucking trend is you see these teams adapting their team to the skill set of the quarterback they draft.
And then you can grow them.
Yes,
exactly. And you can draft a team around that skill set. And I hate to keep going to the Ravens, but it's the one that's in my face all the time.
Yeah.
You can then see, we draft heavy set linemen. We draft Tyler Lindenbaum. We're doing all these things that make Lamar better, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and athletic linemen too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you put skill guys on the outside, but you put a bunch of heavy huckleberries who are eating sausage gravy for breakfast every single day, right up the middle. So I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you said, like we started out with what he was comfortable with, and then we developed the pass game, and now we see where he's at, and then you throw Monken in there, who's just having a field day right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna pay a guy $200 and whatever million, $300 million, or in Patrick Mahomes gets $400 million, which by the way is a team friendly deal, believe it or not. Pay him and develop around him.
Yeah,
because if you're gonna donate that, if you're going to, put that money into a man, then you need to build around what his skill set is. You don't need to make your ego the best part of your team. See Mike McCarthy.
We'll talk about Mike McCarthy now with the Atlanta-Dallas game as the next game on our
good transition
on our little
look at this here. Transition.
Atlanta beats Dallas 27-21.
Dusty, I gotta give you a clap, dude. That was awesome. I mean,
dude, we're blossoming into a flowers. Yeah, I don't know.
you're one of the sexiest sons of bitches I've ever seen wearing black in a while, man.
Awesome. Man,
you gotta find out who the Haley girl was from last show.
Yeah, I said, what's up?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Atlanta beat Dallas 27-21. This game wasn't really it didn't seem very close. I didn't really watch a ton of it because it happened at the same time in the Ravens game. So I watched the highlights of it. It seemed like Atlanta was pretty much in control. Dallas can't stop the run at all. They got a little bit more juice out of their running back with Rico Dowdle today. It looks like Zeke might get kicked off the team. I don't know. He didn't travel with the team. He was benched for disciplinary reasons. I don't know exactly what happened. Maybe we have more information on that. Dak left early with a hamstring. They didn't say how serious it was. Him and CD Lamb are both getting MRIs today. CD had something wrong with his AC joint, which is a shoulder issue, but he played through it. So I wouldn't imagine either of these guys are going to miss time. And if they do, it wouldn't be that much. But this team is terrible. And I don't really think we need to talk about them as a potential playoff team anymore. I'm pretty much crossing them off. I don't see a roadmap for them to get into the playoffs. And if they do sneak in, I don't see them making any headway because they just can't stop the run. They just can't.
I don't get why. I really don't. I don't know. Well, I mean, how have they dropped so far between 2 years? Between last year and this year, it just blows my mind a little bit.
When you pay 4 people and you can't pay the others, this is the equivalent of the Colts when they had Andrew Luck. You spend $1 million on your quarterback and you spend a cent on everything else around them. Watch it. Micah Parsons can't play.
Did they?
I mean, look, they've had no Micah Parsons, no Dexter Lawrence or DeMarcus Lawrence for most of the season. Those are 2 of the better edge rushers in the NFL. So that's tough, obviously, losing those guys on your defensive front. But
they weren't good when you were there.
They weren't. Exactly. Their defense still wasn't good.
I don't give a shit. You cannot pay these guys. Clayton Vander Esch. I mean, hey, why don't you bring Greg Hardy back? He's a leader. They bring all those guys and a bed of guns. Like they that he pays guys very heavy and then doesn't care about the rest of the stuff. He fell into Trayvon Diggs. He fell into Brandon Carr a couple years ago. He doesn't
Former Ravens great.
Yeah. He wants the big high-end product. CeeDee Lamb is a great player and he's hurt. And so when Brooks says injuries, we all have injuries. Like all the teams have injuries. I don't care.
I don't have anything on Atlanta. I just have Dallas sucks. I don't know. Once again, I still don't believe that much in Atlanta, but now they have 6 wins. Maybe I have to start believing in them. What do we think from the Atlanta side, Brooks?
Yeah, they keep. I mean, same as you. I didn't watch a ton of this either with the Ravens game on, but yeah, it's. I did see Dak hurt, like had some kind of cut on his finger or something like that. They were working on his hand, his throwing hand. So I don't know if that's anything really. Dak left early with a hamstring injury as well. You probably said that, but I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
So
would you have paid Dak Prescott? Throw it out there. Go.
Yes. There's no option.
I just don't think they had a choice. I don't think there's a better option. I don't think there's anybody to draft here coming up that's going to be as good as him. I think that was the right play. And to Jerry Jones's credit, they did do right by him when he broke his leg as well. And he came back last year, 2 years ago, and put up ridiculous offensive numbers. And
he should have been the MVP. He should have been the MVP.
He should have won the MVP last year.
Mm-hmm.
He put up ridiculous numbers last year too. So, and to your point, Brian, like they did pay a couple guys this year, obviously, but I feel like they didn't lose that much to be this bad. So, I mean, it's got to come down to the coach at some point, right? I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, I would be frustrated.
His head's going to roll at the end of the season. We all know it. He's not going to get his contract renewed. Joe says these Dallas fans here are the saddest people alive. I believe it.
I wonder if Mike McCarthy's going to continue to have a bunk bed over at Jerry Jones's house when he got the job that one time when he had a slumber party with Jerry Jones.
I think it's so underrated that he literally lied to get the job and then admitted it like the day after he got the job. He was like, yeah, I've really taken this time after I got fired from the Packers to learn about analytics and like sports data. And then he came out the day after they hired him. It's just like, yeah, I didn't really do much of that.
Yeah, and then he went to a bunch of In-N-Out burgers and continued to get bigger. Anyway, that being said, I'm not fat shaming anyone. Maybe I did.
You just did.
Yeah, I'm aware. I look, the Cowboys are a fire, and as long as Jerry Jones is there, and I always say this line, owner Jerry Jones would fire GM Jerry Jones. And that's a real statement. I'm not trying to be funny. They would fire GM Jerry Jones if that was an option.
He's just going to turn the keys over to Belichick next year, isn't he?
And I would take the Cowboys' future over the Browns' future any day of the week because that
take every franchise over the Browns future. Maybe Carolina.
Yeah, I just don't know if Belichick seems to be having him and Saban seem to be having too much fun right now. Like to the point where I feel like it's like, do you really want to go back and be miserable and have to have all these people hate you again? And everyone's pissed off about something. They're probably making the same money right now and having a lot more fun.
Without a doubt, Bill Belichick will be the head coach in the New York Giants next year with Michael Lombardi being his GM.
I think he'll be back because he wants the record.
Shula. He wants Shula's record.
He wants Shula's record, but that's about it.
Okay, let's move on. We're only like 3 games in, and we're about an hour into the podcast. So let's go through a couple of these games a little bit quicker. I don't have much on Buffalo, Miami. I know Tyler Bass hit a 61-yard game-winning field goal. Buffalo's now
70.
Yeah, Buffalo's now 7-2, and the next closest team in their division is the Jets at 3-5 or 3-6. Let me look at that right now. 3-6. Dolphins and Patriots both only have 2 wins. They're going to win that division. They're already basically 4 games up 9 weeks into the season, which is insane.
What a trash pot that division is. That is terrible. And Mike McDaniel might get fired. Like I said,
he's not been good.
Being quirky and cool and wearing joggers and cool ass Nikes is really fun when you're winning. When you start losing, all of a sudden they're not fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami looked a little bit better yesterday, but again, it's and they've looked obviously way better when Tua is there versus when he's not there. But yeah, that division's all but done. Unless the Jets turn it around pretty quickly, which I feel like they could, but Buffalo is also going to need to fall off as well, which I don't see that happening.
I mean, if you look at the standings in the AFC at this moment, just from a playoff perspective, I mean, the Jets are 3-6, but they're only 2 games out of the last wild card spot from Denver. So, I mean, really anything can happen. I also think Cincy's going to get back up into that mix. I don't necessarily think Denver's going to stay up there. I think there will be a team with 9 wins in the AFC make the playoff, maybe get that 7 seed. And so maybe the Jets could make that, but I don't see it. I think this division is going to be a one team playoff entry.
The Steelers scare me right now. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, little bye week action scares you?
Just because of what you just said right there. I mean, that there's going to be a team that gets in, and the Steelers defense, and what did you say earlier, Gus? Stop the run and be able to run the football. Yep. And with what's the other running back other than the Alabama guy?
Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris.
I mean, Jaylen Warren, he's a real deal. He's a change of pace back, and they can stop the run, and TJ Watt might actually be the best player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Their ceiling is they go as far as Russ takes them. That's really what it comes down to for Pittsburgh. I think their defense is obviously stellar. Whatever they get out of Russ is what's going to determine their fate for the season, I would imagine. Next game, I said my goal for the week was to not watch 1 minute of this game, and I did not watch 1 minute of this game. Carolina beat the Saints. By the way, the favorites so far this week are 13-1 straight up. And the only one that lost was the New Orleans Saints, who were a minus 345 money line favorite in this game. I watched one highlight from this game, and it was Derek Carr throwing Chris Olave into his death, threw a ball over the middle, and he absolutely got destroyed. It's his 5th concussion since 2020. He had 1 at Ohio State, and he has had 4 now with the Saints. So we're going to be talking about a guy who might be sitting out for the rest of the year, could be potentially looking at his future career. And it's really sad. Dennis Allen gets fired after this game. Bryce Young gets his.
I wrote down, is Derek Carr the kiss of death?
I think that Derek Carr is terrible. I've said this forever. He had one good season in Oakland. I think it was still in Oakland.
And then he broke his leg.
And he broke his leg, and it completely turned his career around.
I think Mike McClintock came in.
We don't have to spend too much time on this other than Dennis Allen gets fired. What are your immediate reactions? Do you think that makes sense? Do you think that was the right move for the Saints?
Yes,
yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I do too. Pigtown wrote something or tweeted something, and or said, I told you something, don't bet on the Saints or something like that. I forget what it was. And I was like, yeah, I think Dennis Allen gets fired after he could be the next one on the chopping block. And sure enough, today they fired him. I mean, you can't lose 7 straight after you start you win 2 blowout wins at the beginning of the year against, shitty teams, but
they were the greatest show on turf through 2 weeks. Everyone was talking about how they were going to be the best offense in the league.
Well, between that and their players are coming out and saying a lot of shit
Michael
as well.
Thomas.
So,
by the way, Michael Thomas is I'm going to throw it out there right now. He's a douche. He's calling out Derek Carr. You don't throw teammates under the bus.
He doesn't play
by guys. And he can't get his ankle right since he got paid. Weird.
Oh, he doesn't play there. So
he doesn't play anywhere.
He doesn't play anywhere.
He's
still getting paid.
He's the NFC version of Antonio Brown. That guy's a fucking lunatic. By the way,
he really is. But there's current players that were coming out saying shit is where I was going with this. Not, let alone, like you said, Michael Thomas coming out and saying a bunch of shit and saying that Derek Carr needs to get his ass kicked and shit like that.
Interesting Derek Carr stat. Derek Carr has now set the record, by the way. He has lost to 31 NFL franchises. He is the only one to ever do that. And guess what? The Saints play against Las Vegas later this year, and he could make it all 32 if he wants to in that game. That would be unbelievable.
He'll beat the hell out of him.
You think so? I don't know, man.
I'm taking him right now. Book it. Book it.
I think it's week 16 or 17. It's the very end of the season, so we're going to see another terrible game there. I don't have much more on this game. I think you guys are both right. Dennis Allen definitely deserved to be fired. I think there's going to be an overhaul in New Orleans. I wouldn't be surprised to see Marshawn Lattimore and maybe some other valuable guys on the trade market. I saw that Kansas City has been inquiring about Lattimore, and specifically, I wouldn't mind the Ravens getting into that business. That would be pretty cool, I would think. Cincinnati defeats the Vegas Raiders 41-24. Joe Burrow throws 5 touchdowns, none of them to Jamar Chase with Higgins out. Mike Gesicki put up like 40 fucking fantasy points on everyone's waiver wire. Nobody's starting that guy. Vegas fired their offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, after this game. They also fired their quarterback coach and offensive line coaches. It was all of their first year with the team.
Antonio Pierce is over his skis.
I was going to say,
continue to hide guns.
What do we? There's a lot of heads rolling in Vegas. Do we think that Antonio Pierce's head is on the chopping block too, or do you think he's just going to stay there because they're already paying so many guys?
They're already paying so many guys. John Gruden's still on the payroll. I think I would take Tucker, who is to Brooks's left right now, to coach the team over Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, if he's firing all these people, there's only, and the season doesn't turn around, there's only so many more people to point at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and this is a very odd statement to say, but the owner of the Raiders, Mark Davis, is the poorest owner of any owner because he only owns the Raiders as opposed to other businesses and whatever equities.
Yeah.
So he's paying so much money to other people that aren't on his team. It's dead money.
Yeah.
He can't keep doing this. Who are you going to bring in next? Martha Stewart?
Well, he brought in Tom Brady.
Yeah, good for him.
And Richard
maybe
Seymour.
Tom Brady can coach and announce the game at the same damn time, but not go to the meetings.
He needs to start coaching because he can't announce football games right now. He's not good at it.
Greg Olsen has to be laughing his ass off as the second guy for Fox right now. It's not quite to that shame territory yet with Brady, but it's getting there. It's not good. He seems like he's trying way too hard. It does not feel organic at all. It's weird. Yeah. I do not like him in the booth at all. I do not. He looks like Go ahead.
I do think he'll get better though. I don't think he's good right now.
Yeah,
I believe I believe he'll get better because he's a guy who's very determined. But right now, he is the absolute epitome of the worst best man speech. He cannot get in and get out.
Yeah.
He is absolutely shitting all over himself. He's in the middle of talking through touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the flip side of this, Cincinnati, Joe Burrow playing like an MVP candidate at the moment.
Yeah.
So
he's got 20 touchdowns and 4 picks, which is right on par with what Lamar's doing for us. He doesn't have the 500 rushing yards that Lamar has, however.
Sorry, I'm talking over you guys today.
No, you're good. Go ahead, bro.
On that note, because we're talking about Tom Brady, I want to give my that's a shame. ESPN programming is god darn awful.
You telling us something we didn't know already?
All right. I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna do the whole car wash, all the shows that everyone watches that are always on TV. What's cool? I like to shout. I like to talk over each other. What I just said, I apologize for. They make no sense. I don't give a damn what Lil Wayne has to think about a football game. I don't care. Lil Wayne is a great rapper. I don't give a damn what he thinks about the A gap. So I'm ESPN, and also ESPN programming. If Bronny James goes to the G League and I have to hear about it, and it's the lead story over the World Series,
it will be.
What losers? You got to talk about the Cowboys, the Lakers, LeBron, and I don't know, the Yankees.
Look,
so stupid.
They're in the business of getting clicks, and the Cowboys and the Lakers and the Yankees get clicks, plain and simple.
Perfect. I enjoy the places that are real. And obviously, what we did with this podcast unintentionally is to be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why, I mean, and that's why their best show and probably the best show on television at the moment is the Pat McAfee show, because he is, and he's not employed by them technically. He still owns that show and they license it to them. He doesn't have to do shit what they say, to be honest with you. So that's why he still cusses on the air, and he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to, this is how I've done my show. It's been successful. This is who we are. We're just going to stick to who we are. And if you like us, you like us. If you don't, you don't. So fuck it. That's why I like it.
Okay. And Brooks, I agree with you to an extent. There are some points where ESPN makes him put certain people on a regular basis. Like they make him put people on. They do what Dan Patrick called the car wash. They make you put people on because they are still paying some sort of bill, whatever that bill may be. But I'm not going to get into intricacies because we don't know.
But, I mean, the only guy that they really make him put on is Schefter, probably.
And Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays.
No, Aaron Rodgers
they were doing that before then, before he was even employed by them.
Well, now they're paying him $1 million an app. And I love that they have J.J. Watt on Wednesdays. J.J. Watt's a killer. But
they were, again, McAfee brought those guys on before they even were licensed by ESPN. He enjoys those guys, and he chooses to pay those guys himself out of his pocket.
Fair enough. I mean, you're not wrong. You are not wrong whatsoever.
They were not expecting money, and he actually sent them a check, and they were like, you don't need to pay me. I do this because you don't try to mince my words and cut shit and make me sound like an asshole. Yeah. So, because he tries not to do that to people.
My favorite is Pardon the Interruption because it's Siskel and Ebert. And those guys, they say they agree on about 70% of things, but they don't make arguments because a producer tells them to go against Tony or Mike Wilbon. Yeah. If they agree, they agree. If they don't agree, then they'll go after each other. And I love Mike Wilbon because he actually came out and said this. Tony Kornheiser do not talk before the show so that we can be real.
I love that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, Saban and Rodgers give $1 million a hit on PMS, but I mean that was happening before they were on ESPN. He was paying them out of pocket before that.
That's crazy. Good for them.
Oh, by the way, Jason Kelce kicking a field in work boots, terrible. Just throwing it out there.
Jason Kelce supporter.
Did everybody see what happened with Jason Kelce this weekend?
I did not.
Is he okay?
This is that's a shame. So college game day this weekend was at Penn State, College game. Sorry, I was reading what Joe just said. Yeah, Pat's money. He's a $500 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's
killing it. He's doing a great job.
And I love that he owns his show. He took basically all of his advice from Dan Patrick in making this entire show. Like, he looks up to Dan Patrick, which we are all very big Dan Patrick fans. So he regularly talks to him and gets advice from him, which I think is awesome. And so
he calls him the Godfather.
Calls him the Godfather, and he said that because the number one piece of advice I got was from Dan Patrick, and that was to keep your boys close, pay them whatever they need. Once you start not doing that, it's not going to be fun anymore.
And let them behind the scenes see what's going on. Like, I want you to see. I want to see Tucker in the background. See what's going on. This is my real life. That's your real life. I love it. Yeah.
So. But that's a shame. Wait for Dusty since he didn't see it. That's a shame was College Game Day is up at obviously up at Penn State this weekend. Jason Kelsey was doing that field goal with Tim's on because him and Pat were going back and forth jokingly about field goal kicking and stuff like that. And Pat went on their show. So I think it was either before or after this. Jason Kelsey's walking either to or from the set, I'm sure, carrying a case of beer, a garage beer, which he's sponsored by. And there's just a bunch of Penn State fans behind him. And sorry for my French, I'm just repeating what they were saying. But there's college kids with cameras like right up, like feet from the back of his head, going, "How's it feel that your faggot brother is dating Taylor Swift," and all this different stuff, like egging him on. Like, keeps calling his brother the F word, if you will, which we all know is not appropriate in the gay community anymore. But I was just repeating it. So he turns around, and then he gets pushed to the ground at some point. Jason Kelsey does from behind, and it's probably after he takes this guy's phone, spikes it, and he says, "Who's the F word now?" Basically is what happened. And I don't know if he like bent down after that or this was a different situation along the way, but like he bent down and like somebody came up from behind him and pushed him, and then he got up, and then obviously the kids don't do shit. But yeah, it was a whole thing. But yeah, everybody came, well, not everybody, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, did you see Jason Kelsey called some college kid a F, on Twitter and stuff like that," and they all were like feet from his face, like kept yelling at him about saying the same thing over and over again. He turned around, grabbed the phone, spiked it. People are actually on the internet saying that kid should go and press charges for assault and theft and destruction of property on him. Like, you are what's wrong with the world today.
We live in the softest fucking world.
Yeah, we really do. That's a shame. That's a shame is really anybody on the internet who is saying that this kid should go press charges after we just saw what he was doing to Jason Kelsey. I feel like he's lucky he didn't get his fucking teeth pushed in, to be honest with you.
And Brooks, I'm gonna pontificate before Dusty gets a chance even to say this, because it's my second "that's a shame," and well said, by the way. And that's so stupid. Socialization today, no one claps anymore. They put their fucking thumb on a goddamn button on their iPhone and then want to film everything. Live the fucking 6 inches in front of your face and enjoy it, instead of making everyone else feel bad. You're gonna bully somebody. You're gonna go out and then Jason Kelsey of all people. You're a clown. You're a loser. You have no game. That's why you're gonna be internet dating the rest of your life, and you're gonna have a good time with sex talks all the time. Screw you. Live life right here. It's right here.
This was the
no one should do that to people. No.
This was the epitome of fuck around and find out. Like probably not the guy. You should not be poking that said bear.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm going to go home and you know what that kid went home and did? He looked at Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook, or Snapdick, or whatever the hell it is, and he absolutely sat there, didn't have a lady, probably was just jonesing and looked at Asa Akira on Pornhub. Sorry, guys. Yeah, giddy up.
Jesus, Brian.
And I see it all the times at the bars. All these clowns don't know how to talk to anyone. All they do is talk with their fucking thumbs.
So this is the guy right here. This is the angle where you can see him actually grab it and smash his fucking phone. I'll show I'm not going to play it with sound or anything like that.
Don't do that.
So here's just fucking smashed it. Yeah, that guy deserved that. So
would you want to see that guy in an alley? Would you want to see that guy smash your phone in an alley?
Nope.
No.
So here is another video. So
no one deserves that. No one.
Yeah. So you can see what he's saying. Like, it's in quotation marks right there.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is life.
Games get prizes.
This is social media culture. Get famous real quick by fucking with Jason Kelsey. Fuck around and find out, and all of a sudden your neck doesn't work.
Yeah.
People take the ability to eat solid food for granted. Don't do that.
It's just one of those things that if this happened before camera phones were a thing, that guy probably would have just gotten the shit kicked out of him by Jason Kelsey, and everyone would have loved it. But, you know.
We're going to move on, Brooks.
Yeah, we got to move on. We are way off the rails, and we have to bring it back in, and that's my job.
This is
Los Angeles Chargers, formerly San Diego Chargers, defeat the Cleveland Brownies 27-10. Jameis threw 3 picks, which is classic Jameis. He should have thrown 3 picks to us last week, but we didn't want to catch any of them. J.K. Dobbins, 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. What a story this guy's having. What a season this guy's having. He's probably one of the favorites to win Comeback Player of the Year, I would imagine. Him or Kirk Cousins, if I had to guess. Unless Flacco wants to repeat. Yeah, I think the Chargers offense has looked a lot better. I think Ladd McConkey is pretty good. I think Quentin Johnston even had a long touchdown in this game. I thought he was a complete bust coming out of TCU after his rookie season. He's been pretty decent this year.
Yeah,
Josh Palmer.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for J.K. Dobbins and good for the Chargers getting a win and taking care of business against a team that they should beat.
Yes, and knock on wood, I hope J.K. Dobbins has a great career because he was a really good running back at Ohio State, and the Ravens are very high on him. Just a lot of injuries happened. Good for him, and I'm sure John Harbaugh pumped him up to Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But he's going to win some people their fantasy leagues too, because he was like a 13th round draft pick in most of my leagues.
Yeah,
you're not winning anything in fantasy, dude.
And Gus Edwards is out for the year, I believe. If you did, I don't know if you said that or not. So he's just getting.
Is it really?
I believe so, and so Dobbins is just getting more carries. So
yeah.
Anything stand out from the NFL weekend? Basically, I know we're running long today, so anything stand out from the NFL weekend? Big time.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys see Saquon's backwards jumping juke thing? What the fuck was that?
I'll pull that up. That's worth pulling up. This was one of the most amazing.
It's one of the most amazing plays, and the fact that he had the wherewithal and thought to do this in the moment is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And the juke before he even jumped was ridiculous too.
Like, my nipples got hard during the play. Like, what?
He moves so different. He moves so much differently than every other player in the league. He's just so crazy, freakishly athletic. It's like, it's unbelievable. Watching him run is amazing. I don't like the Philadelphia Eagles very much. I can't stand their head coach, so I don't really root for them. I root against them most of the time. But Saquon is unbelievable to watch, and their offense when it's humming is unstoppable. Look, here's the play. Brooks is bringing it up on our.
How do you think to do this?
Yeah,
like that.
Just making people look silly.
That first spin move was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And those are professional athletes he's going against.
Yep. Making them look like they're freaking truck drivers. I have Philly gets out to a 22-0 lead in this game, and then Jacksonville makes a little bit of a comeback. I heard Bill Simmons say this on his podcast. Has there ever been a quarterback that's down 20 points more often than Trevor Lawrence? It just feels like he's down 20 like every other week. And he's right. He's totally right. Doug Peterson needs to get fired.
I think Trevor Lawrence needs a change of scenery. I really do. And he just got paid, so I know that's not an option.
It's not going to happen, yeah.
It's not going to happen. But there's needs something going on here because he should be better. And if he was in a major market, we would crush him like we crushed Sam Darnold back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching some of that game yesterday and some of the receivers that are catching balls, I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
No idea. Besides Evan Ingram and Brian Thomas Jr., I have no idea who half these people are.
Yeah, so Gabe Davis didn't play. Christian Kirk's out for the year with a broken collarbone. We found out a couple days ago via Adam Schefter on Twitter that Christian Kirk to the Steelers was in the works. They had a preliminary deal on the table, and then he broke his collarbone and he was out for the year. And obviously that takes him off the table. I think that would have been a big get for the Steelers. Obviously, he's not a bona fide stud, but he's definitely an above average player, and definitely would be probably the best, if not the second best receiver on their team behind Pickens. So I think he would have worked in their offense well. On the other side, though, good for Philly. Like I said, Hurts looks like he's got his mojo back. He's been excellent the last 3 or 4 weeks since they got A.J. Brown and everyone healthy. And their offense looks like what we expected before the season. They were struggling early in the year, and it really looks like they've gotten their shit back together.
Yep, I agree. And that Devontae Smith catch was unbelievable. I watched that live and I was like, there's no way he stayed in and kept control of that ball. And sure enough, he did. So that was incredible. Yeah, Philly looks like besides their coach trying to actively lose them games right now.
Yeah.
They look pretty damn good. They went for 2-3 times in a row, which put them into a situation where they probably should have lost that game last night.
They had a chance.
I saw that they got the ball back and they were down 6 with like 2 minutes left. I'm like, wow, they're gonna end up losing this game. This is gonna be a Doug Peterson revenge game right here.
Yeah.
So it's it's a shame, really.
Yeah.
He's getting booed. They're winning and he's getting booed. So he's gonna have to start doing something different.
Yeah. And I have written down ETN as the king of stupid, dumb, idiot plays. He bobbled a screen in this game. He bobbled a screen late in the game and got picked off and ran back. But earlier in the year, if you remember, in their first game against Miami, which is how their season started so drastically or so terribly, he was running into the end zone to put them up, I think, like 14 or 20 to seal the game with just a couple minutes left and just completely dropped the ball. Or got it punched out, and they ended up losing that game. And it looks like he was directly responsible for a turnover that swung this game as well. So he's just not having a great year. I think Tank Bigsby is straight up a better player than him at this point. I don't know why he's getting so much time still. Maybe it's just because him and Trevor Lawrence went to Clemson together and they like playing with each other, but it's just not working out for Jacksonville.
This is why running back should not be first round picks unless it's an absolute
it's Saquon
ridiculous
Barkley.
Saquon Barkley or a Bijan Robinson. There is no reason.
Yeah,
there are a dime a dozen, and unfortunately, receivers are becoming that same thing.
Yeah.
You're looking at edge rushers and tackles now as the hot commodities.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there.
Washington beat the Giants. They covered as well. I picked the Giants. I thought this was going to be a little bit of a trap game for Washington.
Joe. Thank you, Joe.
Good for Washington. 7-2 is their best start to a season through 9 weeks since 1996. What did Joe say?
No, Joe picked this one for
Joe
Brian.
Picked it for me, and he lost me. Joe screwed. All right, I love you though.
Yeah. Scary Terry had 2 catches. Both of them were touchdowns. Didn't have to do much. They didn't have Brian Robinson in this game, which I thought was going to be a problem for them because it was a big problem for them when they played against us. But it didn't really matter. They took care of business. Good for them. Tennessee, New England. I got nothing. Didn't watch a minute of this game. Don't care even a little bit what happened.
I got one thing on the commies. Schefter came out yesterday or this morning saying that there's quite a few people that are texting their agents that they want to be traded to the commies.
I saw that,
which is funny. And he said it because I haven't been because I've never written that in this decade since before. He's like, I literally have not written that since Dan Snyder has owned the team. So he's like, this is pretty crazy to start seeing that people actually want to be traded there.
This goes back to the culture thing that we talked about last week. I mean, they have changed the culture there, and that is beautiful.
Yeah. They're doing a great job, and good for them and good for their fan base. They deserve this just as much as any other fan base in the league, I would say, after the shit they've been through in the last decade or two. Yeah, like I said, Tennessee defeats New England in overtime. Didn't watch a minute of this game. Don't care. Good for Drake May. They're going to keep getting L's, piling up L's so they can get a high pick and pair him with somebody who can actually play football because nobody else on the team can. Arizona defeats Chicago 29-9, second week in a row where the Bears offense looks pretty much stagnant. And I would say against two below average defenses in Arizona and Washington, especially in the secondaries. Arizona, don't look now, 3 straight wins, first place in the NFC West at 5-4. They're getting a little frisky. I said last week, I think the Bears implosion is coming, and it looks like it's here. That's a shame is just the Bears offense. They're terrible, and they're no fun to watch.
Matt Eberflus, goodbye.
Yeah, it's getting close. It's Bears fans are like getting very loud about that. So
that team spent money and a draft pick, and they have produced nothing.
They've got weapons everywhere. They've just got a complete moron at the helm. He can't do anything if
he's got a great beard and a great barber.
Oh man.
Yeah, and Brian still has to do a pie since he incorrectly forecasted that, but he's going to end up being right here before the end of the year, I think.
Yeah. Game of the day was supposed to be Detroit versus Green Bay, but I mean, Detroit dominated this game. It was 24-3 for most of the second half. It's the first game that Jared Goff has played outdoors all year long, and he is historically way better indoors than outdoors. It was raining. It was not good weather. In the first half, Josh Jacobs was running like a madman. He looked incredible. And then Detroit got up so much that they forced Jordan Love to start throwing more, and they couldn't feature Josh Jacobs nearly as much. And it just felt like Detroit was in control the whole game. I never thought they were going to lose. I think they've solidified themselves as the best team in the NFC, at least, if not the NFL. What do you guys have on this game?
I absolutely think that I watched Matt LaFleur turn gray during the game. Dan Campbell has absolutely changed. Once again, I hate to keep going to culture. He is a stud. That team stands behind him. He has the locker room plays like they have a rolling ball of butcher knives, a strong chin, and want to beat the living hell out of your mother when they play football.
Yeah, it's that was a pretty convincing win, I would say. And Jordan Love has not looked great. I know he had that injury in the first game this year, but that kept him sidelined a little bit, and then just hasn't looked that great since he's come back. And he had one of those awful pick sixes again, like looked almost identical to the one he had the other, like, it might even have been last week, or it was 2 weeks ago. It was recently where he basically threw it, like it didn't even make it to the line of scrimmage, and pick six for the other team. So it was he's not looking too great right now. I'm sure Packers fans are getting a little frustrated with these stupid throws that are being made, but I have faith that he'll figure it out.
Well, you paid him
right now.
You paid him, so you got to stick with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, but yeah, at the moment they don't have it figured out, which is maybe a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe they're not peaking yet, but we'll see. I don't know.
A couple more things on the Lions, just real quick. Amon-Ra St. Brown caught a touchdown. I think it was the first touchdown of the game, and did a headstand in the end zone, which I think was the touchdown celebration of the year so far. It was amazing. I have written down, I think he's the best stick mover in football. He's just so good when they have a 3rd and 5, or if they need like a big play in the middle of the field, he's always there. If you watch this game, every 3rd down they needed, or every short yardage situation where they really needed one, they just ran him on a drag route or a slant route and threw it him. And he's so good. He catches everything. He's unbelievable. I think he's one of the better receivers in the NFL.
That's a man who has a chip, literally, I think a potato chip on his shoulder underneath his pad. He is running like a madman, and
He's
I would
scrappy.
not want to scrappy, or as you like to say, feisty.
Yeah.
He is, or frisky, whatever it is.
He
awesome. Is a stud, and I love every single second of him. He reminds me of a younger Cooper Kupp.
He reminds me of like Steve Smith. He just plays like that, and
great.
Wes Welker, Steve
Phenomenal.
Smith, just like a slot guy who just catches everything. He's unbelievable.
Like how eat your children. He has no.
Also, one last note: Allen Robinson on the Lions. Hadn't heard that name in years. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I don't know where he went after Pittsburgh. Maybe he went straight there. I don't know. But yeah, I saw that catch by him yesterday too, and I was like, I didn't know that.
They called Allen Robinson. I was like, what? He's on the Lions?
Yeah, and then with this game being a muddy mess and a rainy mess that it was, we probably should have known that this was going to be a Lions game because that kind of football is just what they're built for.
We probably talked about it last week, but look, they just got answers. They can win so many different types of ways. They can win a dogfight, a pound, ground and pound kind of game. They can beat you through the air. They just have so many ways they can win games. It's so difficult. Mike Lombardi says this all the time. How good are you at playing left-handed? When they take away your best option, how good are you at adjusting and being able to play a different style, something that you're not used to? And they can play every single style of football. I think they have the most answers.
I am so disgusted to say what I'm about to say, but there are three teams I believe they're going to be in the Super Bowl: the Steelers, the Ravens. I'm aware. Thanks, Dick. The Steelers, the Ravens, or the Lions. The only other team I would believe would be the Chiefs because they have a great defense and they have a quarterback that is absolutely generational. I think those are the four teams that are going to make the playoff, make the Super Bowl. I really do. And I'm not saying the Ravens because I'm biased. We can stop the run. We can't stop the pass. The Steelers have a great defense. They just got to figure out their offense. The Lions are an all-encompassing, amazing team. And I truly, truly believe that Steve Spagnuolo will probably get a head coaching job for a second time because he's a defensive coordinator who's doing something ridiculous. But their quarterback has not played that well this year. And that's scary as hell because they're still undefeated.
Oh, and last year.
I think you're a little higher on the Steelers than I am. I do think they're a great defense, probably one of the best couple in the NFL. But I still have question marks. I'm not all the way back in on Russell Wilson like it seems like a lot of people are. Just quite yet. I mean, if he keeps playing like this, good for him. He's really looking pretty good so far.
They need a receiver bad, really bad.
This next game ended up being the game of the day for sure, I would say. The Rams beat the Seahawks. This game was back and forth. Puka Nacua got ejected for punching a defensive back early in the game.
That really helped my fantasy.
Yeah, it really helped my fantasy team because I got Cooper Kupp all over the place, and he had 14 targets, over 100 yards. I have written down DeMarcus Robinson's game-winning catch in overtime was unbelievable. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. Brooks, I don't know if you can pull it up. Maybe you could. This Jackson Smith and Jigba breakout game, that dude had like 40 fantasy points, 170, 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. He looked excellent with DK Metcalf missing his second straight week. And I have a couple of Geno Smith thoughts, but I'm going to let you guys go first because I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. Brooks is pulling up the play now. This is the game winner in overtime to win 26-20. The DeMarcus Robinson catch. Perfect ball from Stafford, and it's a one-handed catch contested. That guy's a stud. I mean, he was good for us when he played for us.
What a bucket ball. What? That's so
unbelievable. Good. It's Matt Stafford, especially this late in his career, has so much arm talent. He's so impressive. I love watching him play.
He can sling it from everywhere. He was Patrick Mahomes for Patrick Mahomes in terms of like release points.
Right. Yeah, actually, Rodgers gives him all the credit for starting all of that. He's like, we talk about Patrick Mahomes. He's like, there's a guy that's been playing in Detroit for about 10 years that's been doing that for a long time before that.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Geno Smith, I have written down that Geno Smith had the most Eli Manning game I've ever seen in my life.
What does that mean?
He threw two of the stupidest, worst, dumbest interceptions I have ever seen in my life, but he also threw 3 touchdowns and he made like crazy sick throws. He was just wildly inconsistent. He was making throws that nobody should be able to make, and then he was making throws that nobody should ever make. And that's, for me, when I think of a guy who can do them both like that, I'm thinking of Eli Manning right away.
Eli Manning is going to the Hall of Fame for a helmet and a guy named David Tyree. If he doesn't have a helmet and David Tyree, he is absolutely not going to the Hall of Fame.
Well,
and
that
anyone
Mario
wants to fight me on that, 620 South Clinton Street, 21224.
in the second Super Bowl, the Mario Manningham catch on the sideline, that throw was unbelievable.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think, look, Geno, I love him because he's late career surge, like really likable guy coming out of West Virginia. I think he got a little bit unlucky at the beginning of his career where he landed and the offenses he was in. But I love him. But God, dude, the two picks in particular I'm thinking of, you have to watch the highlights of the game to see them. Unbelievably, like inexplicably bad throws, like really inexplicably bad throws.
They shouldn't have lost this game. They should.
No,
they had overtime.
They should have won this game by 20. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I have. Yeah, Stafford and Kupp together when they're healthy, it's so much fun to watch. Okay, let's move on to the last game of the day. Unless you guys have anything else on that one. NFC West is lockstep. I think 5-4 is the best record, and 4-5 is the worst record in the division. So everyone in that team has got a chance to win it, or every team in that division.
Joe lost me in my Giants game. I'm still pissed off at Joe.
Hey, dude, he tried his hardest. Minnesota defeated the Indianapolis Colts last night. Justin Jefferson had 137 receiving yards. Joe Flacco didn't look very good. They looked slow. He looked slow. The Colts offense looked terrible. I didn't see anything very impressive from them. I didn't know this until just like an hour before we recorded this. The Colts never ran a play in the red zone last night. They never took an offensive snap inside of the 20 in the whole game.
It feels like one of those we've seen that Flacco plenty of times.
Yeah, it wasn't good. He was missing throws. He looked a little bit more he looked a little less comfortable in the pocket than he has earlier part of the year. And I think it's a credit to, once again, we've said it before, but Brian Flores and that job he's done as the defensive coordinator. They are getting pressure on the quarterback in Minnesota, and they're doing it at an elite level, and it's really awesome.
Yep, this would be one of those 4 teams that Brian was talking about that I would probably switch out with the Steelers. I mean, I know you can't do that because they're in the NFC, but I just think Minnesota has a damn good chance there. I don't know if they have enough firepower. We'll see to do it or to sustain. Like if they have any kind of injury, I just don't know where that leaves them. But yeah, at the moment they have surpassed all expectations. I feel like so.
They did lose their starting left tackle for the season, Christian Darrisaw, but right away they traded for the starting left tackle, Cam Robinson, from the Jacksonville Jaguars after he was benched, apparently not happy in Jacksonville. I think they gave up pennies, and now he's starting for them. Not as good of a player, but still a very serviceable starter.
That's a very big loss, and I think it's way more important than we really realize at this moment. I said really realize back to back, but I really think that is going to be a difference maker for the Vikes.
Yeah. I mean, nothing else on that game. Like I said, the Colts just didn't have any juice in this one. And if they look like that again next week, we might see Anthony Richardson back in the starting lineup earlier than we expected.
He should be ashamed, and I think he's kind of doing like a but not a smear campaign. What's the opposite of that? Like a come to Jesus moment campaign. Like,
Babyface.
I screwed up.
If you want to be a World Wrestling Federation fan, whatever, WWE fan, babyface. He's trying to be nice to everybody. He's trying to be a good guy. He needs to win the locker room back is what he needs to do. So
well, he's not going to do it there. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to say that. And he's got talent, and he really could be a decent player. He's not going to win that locker room back. It's over. It's like cheating on somebody. You're not going to be able to gain trust.
Yeah, but hopefully he tries. I mean, that's going to be big for whoever's next team is that's willing to take a chance. And it seemed like, I mean, they showed shots on the sideline. It seemed like he was trying. So
yeah,
he's mature, I guess. Hopefully
just a little cleanup from earlier. I forgot to mention, I had this written down. The Cowboys broke their franchise record for turnover on downs. They had 4 of them yesterday, which is outrageous. Just
Mike McCarthy should be a janitor, not a NFL coach.
And yeah, that's pretty much all the notes I have. Like I said, favorites 13-1 straight up this week. So if you were betting the favorites, if you had any kind of 3-team teasers where you're taking everyone down to past the 0 or down to 0, you probably hit all of them. So it was a good week if you were back in the favorites this week.
I think one of our friends lost a parlay based on 2 yards.
Yuck. Did you see Jalen Waddle?
Our baseball group chat got it. You needed 225 yards from a certain quarterback, and he only got 223 because he took a knee. Whoopsie.
Have you guys happened to see Jalen Waddle's box score from yesterday's game? He had 2 catches for -4 yards and a touchdown. That was his final line. He had a 12-yard touchdown catch early in the game, and then he caught a -16-yard pass later in the game and ended up with negative yards and a touchdown. Never seen anything like it. Good for him. I think, do you guys want to do a little preview tonight? Kansas City, Tampa, just like quick. The line has moved. It was 9 earlier. Now it's 8.5 in favor of Kansas City at home against Tampa. Do you think Tampa's going to be able to move the ball against this Kansas City defense without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? Or do you think this is going to be kind of a grinded out, low scoring Kansas City win ugly, which is what they've been doing all year? That's what I'm thinking.
This is Chris Jones kills people.
Yeah. I can see that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that Tampa Bay can move the ball against them, especially with all the injuries. But then I said that last week, and then they actually end up putting up some points. So yeah, I'm not sure. They've been winning ugly all year, so I'll keep the trend. I think they win ugly again.
Yeah. I think they're going to win ugly too. I think Tampa's going to cover, and I think Kansas City's going to win by 3 to 7 points, 1 score, I would think. Breaking news, Adam Schefter has reported Dak Prescott is expected to miss at least several weeks with his hamstring injury. He is seeking a second opinion to confirm treatment options. So the Cowboys are going to be without Dak Prescott for at least a couple weeks.
Season's done.
Don't know any information on CD. But yeah, it's going to be Cooper Rush, it looks like, for at least a little while.
See ya. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones gets another year older and another year more desperate. Yeah. I'm sorry, but you're another year older, you're another year desperate. You're going to continue to make bad decisions. Bring back Jimmy Johnson. And by the way, I want to say this real quick. They should be embarrassed that they didn't put Jimmy Johnson in that Ring of Honor
until
this year.
Are you kidding me? You should be embarrassed of yourselves.
I'm not going to expand on that because I totally agree with everything you said just there. I think the last thing we have to do today is our snake draft.
Yeah, we got there's baseball stuff coming, but we'll do that on Friday when we're all together.
We're gonna have more information.
There's some people opting out. There's some people declining options. There's qualifying offers not being made and are being made, which says stuff one way or another in terms of what this team is trying to do. But we'll go more in depth on that on Friday, probably, if we're not too outrageous.
Our snake draft today is going to be a little bit different. Brian suggested this to us a couple weeks back, and we're going to try it out. I think it's going to be really fun. We're going to go through every now and then periodically. We're going to go through some old NFL drafts and redraft them, knowing what we know now. And we thought that the perfect one to do to start would be the 2018 draft, where Lamar Jackson was drafted number 32 overall. Brooks won last week's draft, video game characters, best video game characters. I think he won specifically because his last pick was Pablo Sanchez.
Probably.
That was a masterclass there. Just completely forgot about that guy. I probably would have picked Pete Wheeler if I would have remembered. But anyway, the draft order is Brooks and then me and then Brian. Brian came in last because he picked Glass Joe number 2.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Are we drafting just like the top players, or are we drafting to like fill out like our
top players?
Here we go. No, here we go. You're starting an expansion team. Go.
Okay, so
that'll change everything.
Right. Yeah, that changes so much stuff. I think we should just do best players because I have a couple of quarterbacks that down the board that I was interested in taking.
Okay, fine. Then we'll do best players.
Okay.
I'm taking Glass Joe number 1.
Your top 5 players from this draft.
Fair enough. All right.
But we're doing a snake draft, obviously. Brooks has got the number 1 overall pick, and I have a sneaking suspicion that he's going to be taking the 2-time MVP quarterback for our home team.
So we're completely clear. Top 5 players from the draft. That is it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Lamar.
So you can have 2 quarterbacks if you want.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Brooks is taking Lamar Jackson.
Basically what I was asking.
Brooks is taking Lamar Jackson. That makes my life easy. I'm taking Josh Allen with the number 2 pick.
I will take Quentin Nelson.
Wow.
See, that might have been who I take if I'm doing an expansion team.
You never need to worry about that position for the next 15 years.
Okay. Quentin Nelson is a great guard and a great player and great option here. I probably would have gone a different direction, but you have another pick, so you still can.
I will also take Saquon Barkley.
Wow. Okay, I'll take Baker Mayfield. You definitely should have taken him. He is 100% worthy. He plays the most important position on the field, and I'm going to go with him.
You're talking about best players. I'm going to take the guys that are actually going to be the best players and last long. He has terrible commercials, and he has been on 3 teams.
Fair enough.
Give me Fred Warner.
Great call. Number 70 pick in the 3rd round.
Great pick. One of the very best defensive players in the league. Brooks gets one more pick here, and there's a lot of different ways he can go here. I've got 20 players written down.
I got 19. Yep.
By the way, undrafted, he had termed J.C. Jackson, who's out of the league now, but he was good for a little while.
He was good for 2 or 3 years.
Well done.
He got paid by the Chargers, and he stunk.
Was that the same year? Was Justin Jefferson this year?
No,
he's not.
Get out of here. Get off the podcast.
He's not.
Well, I mean, I was trying to sort by position, then I think it just took me to a fantasy site. Give me Vita Vea.
Damn, nice call. Great.
Vita Vea he's on my list. He was a little bit further down for me personally.
That makes him a Buick, without a doubt, by the way.
My pick is going to be Jair Alexander. He's been one of the best corners in the league, and it's really hard to find really good cornerbacks. So I'm going to go with him.
Terrible human being, but okay.
I mean, great football player. Who cares?
Yeah, good point. With me?
Yeah, you get 2 in a row here.
All right. I'm going to take 2 of my favorite players of all time in college. The first freshman to ever start at Alabama on defense under Nick Saban, Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think he's one of the smartest players of all time, and I wish the Ravens would have drafted him, but he got picked before them.
Yep.
I will also take my second favorite player of all time in college, other than Bo Jackson, would be Nick Chubb. And I love Nick Chubb out of Georgia because Sony Michel was the lead back and Nick Chubb was the backup back. And a reporter got in his face and said, "Why don't you go on social media like Sony does?" And he goes, "Have you ever seen a Lamborghini commercial? My play does my talking."
Yeah, if you remember, Todd Gurley and DeAndre Swift were also in that backfield a couple years before that, and Evander Holyfield's son was also in that running back room. They had a lot of talent on that Georgia Bulldogs team. Led to probably my favorite college football game I ever watched, which was the 2000, I guess this year's Rose Bowl between Baker Mayfield and Rodrigo Blankenship. We watched that in the in your apartment building in the theater room, if you remember correctly.
Yes, I do remember that vividly.
Yeah, Hot Rod Blankenship was just nailing 50-yard field goals left and right. It was amazing.
Now he's trying to get back in the league.
I know, man. I drafted him in so many fantasy leagues over the last couple of years. Okay, so a lot of the really good players are off the board. We have a couple Ravens we could pick, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with corner again, and I'm going to take Denzel Ward from Ohio State. That guy's a stud.
Excellent pick. Excellent.
Why? Yeah. Give me Mark Andrews.
Not a bad pick. Very, very, very good tight end.
Did Mark Andrews get drafted by the Cowboys?
No, he got drafted by the Ravens, third round.
Well, I thought so too.
You're on the wrong website, dude. You need to get on Wikipedia and just look up.
Wait, Nickelodeon?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, apparently
he's watching the Slime Time broadcast.
Yeah, really. Yeah, we got Gak
never mind.
over.
I know what I messed up here.
We picked up on that.
Yeah, and give me DJ Moore.
It's Terp.
Trombone shorty.
Terp.
DJ Moore rounds out Brooks's draft, and there are so many ways to go. I could take my third quarterback here. I could take a fucking stud offensive guard for the Browns. I could take the best center in the league. I could take a safety who's excellent, but always hurt. I mean, look, it's the most valuable position, and he's been playing really well this year. Give me second Sammy Darnold, and I'm going to take 3 QBs.
I know who's going to lose this draft.
Brooks, I need you to actually change Justin's moniker there. That says loser. This guy who sees ghosts, you're going to take?
He's been good this year, man. Good. He got drafted by Adam Gase. He's like the worst coach in NFL history. Fuck that guy. It's not his fault.
All right. I'm going to close on my draft with one of the most Raven players since Ray Lewis, and that's Roquan Smith.
Yeah, I can't knock you for that. He was also on that Georgia team running around. What an absolute star-studded team that was.
And also, Roquan just fits the city. He fits the team. I'm not trying to go too in-depth about the Ravens, but he just seems like it's a perfect fit. Square peg, square hole.
We just need to get him playing a little bit better.
Honorable mentions for the boys. Who wants to start?
I've got a bunch. You guys can go ahead.
I'm going to go through. We'll do 3 at a time. I'm going to go Derwin James.
Yep.
Out of Florida State. Yep. Calvin Ridley. And Bradley Chubb.
I'm going to go with Frank Ragnow. I think he's probably one of the best centers in the league. I'm going to go with Wyatt Teller, who the Cleveland Browns got late in the draft. He's a very, very good guard. And I'm going to give Deron Payne some love for the Washington Commanders. Really good defensive tackle. Big impact player.
Yeah.
And durable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got offensive tackle, Jordan Mailata.
Very good. Good value too.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd say Orlando Brown Jr., but I don't know. Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
Who's going to be my third? Because I don't want to use it. Give me Mike McGlinchey.
Great call. Because bad start to a career really made a great. I'm going to say mid to end a career right now.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton is up there, and I'm gonna throw one that's random. Deshaun Elliott making a great back end of his career.
Deshaun Elliott from?
Chirp.
Nope, he's a Texas guy.
Another one that I guess two other ones that I kind of forgot about. Sam Hubbard, who's been a beast for Cincinnati, and Jesse Bates, who just got paid.
Jesse Bates.
And Jesse Bates is a great safety. I mean, he's a great safety. He's just overpaid. That's why he's been jumping teams.
Yeah. Last guy on the list I have is Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker formerly of the Bills, now on the the Chicago Bears. His brother also got taken out of Virginia Tech, I believe, by the Steelers, right?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Terrell Edmonds, he's a D-back.
Shaquille Leonard was in that draft from the Colts. Now, unfortunately, he had like a back or neck injury.
Darius Leonard,
Shaquille Leonard,
yeah.
I mean, he was a stud.
He was a guy I actually really loved watching for a couple years, and he just kind of fell off a cliff after those injuries.
He could never get right.
Yeah. Can't get right. Can you guys name the quarterback from that Georgia team we were talking about from this year?
From that year?
From that year, 2017.
Don't.
It's the skinny guy, the small skinny guy.
I'll give you a hint. They picked him over Justin Fields, and Justin Fields ended up transferring to Ohio State.
Why can't I think of his name? I can see his face.
I can see him. Damn it, Brooks! I can see him.
It's the small skinny guy. He was like a 6-year because he didn't play for like 3 years, 4 years.
All right, give it to us.
I think he was a walk-on.
He is on the Lions practice squad. His name is Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm.
Oh no, I actually was not thinking about that guy.
You thought it was Stetson Bennett.
I did think it was Stetson.
No, it's not Stetson Bennett. He plays for the Rams, I believe.
If he had one M in Fromm, he'd be a starter in the NFL. It's like always him and Ricky Fowler. The minute Ricky Fowler goes to Rick, he goes to Rick Fowler, he'll win a major.
You think so?
Two guys that I just came across on here. Dallas Goedert, didn't know he was in this draft. And Christian Kirk. No idea.
And DJ Shark in that draft as well.
DJ Shark. We have done our 2018 NFL redraft. I have 3 quarterbacks on my team. And 2 corners. So that's how I decided to go with my draft. I have the most valuable team for sure. Highest paid. Anyway, that has been another episode of Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. We're going to do some send-offs, and we're going to talk about our live show Friday. Brian, can you fill us in on what's going on Friday?
Sure. So we're going to go ahead and do our live show stuff that we're going to do on Friday. We're all coming to town for Mr. Sean and Hillary Fuller's wedding. It's going to be an amazing day. Delaware Dave is the officiant. I'm the flower girl. Chris Merrick is the beer vendor. And all of us are going to be in town at Chesapeake Wine Company for Miss Kimberly Bosley's establishment. We're going to get there at 11. We'll probably go live around 11:30. Dog friendly, as we've mentioned before. Please come, hang out. We'll not only support her, support us, and just enjoy yourself. And I promise you this much, no matter how dumb we may seem, we're 3 of the best human beings you've ever met in your entire life, and we will take care of you and have a good time. And I'm getting pied in the face. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I actually, shout out to Nick Vogt, who is one of our listeners all the time, generously offered me one of his extra tickets for the Ravens game that night. So I'm going to be going to the game Thursday night before our live show on Friday. So I'm probably going to be in rare form on Friday morning. We're going to need some beers in there. And if you guys want to come have some beers with us and watch me be miserably hungover while we do a live show, it would be a good time to do it.
It'll be amazing. I also go ahead.
We'll have a guest mic there for so it'll be the 3 of us obviously doing the show. Then we'll have a guest mic for we'll have, if anybody wants to come on to ask a question. So we'll have a guest mic. We're also going to do we'll do a giveaway for either, just depending on who wins it, I guess. We'll make a 3-tiered system in terms of like if somebody drinks beer, wine, or liquor. We'll do one of those where we'll buy something from the Chesapeake Wine Company for you. That'll be our giveaway for you. And yeah, we have a couple other things in mind that we're kind of spitballing right now. Trivia will be back. Maybe we'll do some kind of a winner. Like we'll give away some stuff for like the winners of trivia. Maybe we'll ask trivia to whoever is there, if depending on how many people are there.
We have some hats and koozies and stickers and stuff to give away as well. So we'll have that kind of stuff. Yeah, segments, but different ideas that we haven't done on the show before that we're planning to bring to there. Just some fun stuff. Since we'll be hanging out again. This is more like a hangout, belly up to the bar kind of a deal. It's very informal. We're here to have a good time. We're here to talk sports, about our favorite sports teams, or loathing them when things don't go our way. So,
boys, I know we're pontificating about a bunch of stuff we have, but
stop using that word.
I'm sorry.
Stop using that word. I'm done.
We're information overloading you for all the stuff we have. But what I do want to, and like Brooks said, this is a hangout. We're having fun. Yeah. You come have fun with us, and I promise you will have fun.
Yeah.
Our job is that you get to have a smile on your face. I want to give a shout out to Antonio and Russ and Deborah. Antonio, I cannot wait to have you on Friday. It's going to be awesome. We're going to talk about some Ravens and some Orioles. You're going to kill it, man. I promise it. And I'm probably going to get emotional during it. And then second, to my friend Ashley, going through a lot. You are a good human being. We love you. I love you. Everyone loves you. Keep your head up, and we'll be there for you every single freaking day. And you have a great husband and a great child.
There you go. Talk to your friends. Brian says it every podcast, and I'll let him do it before we send off today. But talk to your friends. Text someone, call someone, let them know you're thinking about them.
I do this podcast from my kitchen. My countertop is right over here. If this kitchen could talk, no one would want to hear it. But I've heard a lot of people cry, laugh, and have hugs, and sometimes you get in arguments, and that happens. But we're family. I do this podcast every single week and every single day because I love my friends. I love these guys, and I'll be there for them any day. And it helps me. Mental health is a huge thing. And when I'm going through tough times, the first guy to reach out to me is Brooks. And I love him.
Yep. If you're thinking about somebody, give them a call, give them a text, say hi, ask them how they're doing.
And also,
it takes 5 seconds.
And once that Jesse McCusick, 2 years. Love you, Jess. Yeah. You're up there in the sky, baby, and I know you're looking over us.
Yeah. That's all the stuff we have going on. Like we said several times, we're going to be at Chesapeake Wine Company on Friday. We're going to recap the Ravens game. We're going to talk about some of this Orioles, some of this offseason MLB stuff. A lot of people opting out, opting into their contracts. We're learning. Some people are going to have new homes next year, which happens every year, and it's always really fun to see. And Joe Radke says we help him get through some stuff, which is awesome. That's great to hear, Joe. If you ever have any problems or you want to talk about something, you can reach out to any of us, man. Do it through social media, however you want. We're always here. And that goes not just for Joe, obviously, for anybody who wants help or wants to talk or, just wants to bullshit.
Yeah, I'm an emotional nightmare. I like I said, I cried a good greeting card, dude. But there's so many good people out there that take care of each other. And like I said, when I'm going through a tough time, and I've been going through a tough time, the first guy to reach out to me is a guy wearing blue that's on this screen right now, and I couldn't thank him more in my life.
A little bit of breaking news. The 49ers have opened the practice window for Christian McCaffrey, and he is on pace to play next Sunday against Tampa Bay. According to Adam Schefter, he is tracking to play Sunday versus Tampa Bay. So
all you CMC fans, shut the fuck up.
Sell all your Jordan Mason stock if you have any. Or keep him because I don't know about those Achilles for Christian McCaffrey.
Did we just get breaking news in our group chat?
I don't know.
We might need to check that if that's real or not.
I don't have anything in any group chat.
The degenerates.
Bro Hurt is back, baby.
I have not received that text message.
We just got a text saying that Bro Hearn is back.
So Brian O'Hearn, I believe, had a $7 or $8 million team option for this year. I don't know if we just pick that up or if we renegotiate it with him. We're gonna look on the Twitter machine and try to find
the
out.
Orioles have officially picked up club options for Ryan O'Hearn, $8 million, and Cianel Perez, $2.2 million. That's coming 4 minutes ago, and that's from the Baltimore Battery.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it from Mass and Steve, and I'm seeing it from John Heyman and Andy Costco, so this is definitely happening.
This is real.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Love Ryan O'Hearn, team leader, clubhouse leader, and honestly, one of the best left-handed bats we have in the lineup. He's great.
And Antonio, if you're listening right now, this is probably a question I'm now going to bring up to you, and I'll send them to you in advance. How O'Hearn helps the Orioles moving forward.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on to your pants. Hold on to your pants. Hold on to your pants.
Holy shirts and pants.
Don't get me wrong. I hate Mad Dog Russo with a fiery passion. He just says shit to get clicks. So
can you take that off the screen?
Yeah, move his. Just X his name off the screen. I hate that guy. All right, we have gone over 2 hours. It is beautiful Monday. You guys go enjoy your day. We will be back with you to pick our games later this week, and then we will be back with you on Friday for the live show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Please
come hang out.
Like, comment, subscribe, reach out. We'll get a graphic up for everything, and you can interact with us that way on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you
go. Joe, did you get your stuff?
Yeah, Joe, have you got it yet? Have you got it yet?
Yeah, reach out to us or leave a comment, Joe, and let us know if you've gotten your stuff that we sent you. We sent you a little care package. Hopefully you've gotten it. We are the least popular podcast because we don't give a shit if you like and subscribe. We want you to just hang out and have fun.
We try.
Brian cuts off a lot here, but we're good. All right. I love you guys. You guys have a great one. Joe has not received his care package. We will see if that's still in transit. And we will see you guys on Friday.
Sounds good, boys.